There's a lot of times that I have to excuse myself in debate simply because I'm engaged in it with a gentleman significantly older than me. And the one thing I cannot do is tell him about the America that he experienced. I can only tell him about the America that I experienced. And the age gap between us will cause us to experience two different Americas. And although he has lived my entire lifespan in America, he cannot tell me about the America that I experienced because our Americas never cross paths. They run concurrently, but always parallel. So although we share the fact of living through the same historical events, we've always seen them from two different vantage points. God willing, there will be a day where I'm in debate with someone of a much younger generation than mine, someone who can't identify an act of systemic racism. And the toughest decision for me will be whether to open their eyes to things they may not have seen or to let them exist in their America that didn't show them those things. But again, these are natural generational gaps. I remember being at Popeyes early 2010s. It's a Tuesday, of course. I would go grab, 5 or 6 of those leg and thigh specials and put them with some sides at home, made for an easy dinner. Now, y'all already know how Popeyes would look on Tuesday night. The wait was going to be at least 30. You had people going in there acting like they ain't know it was Tuesday. Oh, y'all got a special? What's that? The people going in there ordering all fresh, as if there was any other option, like the rest of us is sitting in here waiting on old chicken or something. Just a bunch of people acting highbrow. So while you were waiting, conversations would form around how long the food was taking. Fake outrage. Now, I don't remember how this conversation started. I just remember this older black man, maybe 15 to 20 years older, saying how he has never been pulled over, never been arrested. And if the police is messing with y'all, it's y'all fault. Y'all being younger black men. And while he's saying this, myself and 2 other guys are looking at him screwed face. Like, you can't be serious. All 3 of us, and they were complete strangers to me, we spent the next 10 minutes or so trying to explain to this man how you don't have to do anything for the police to fuck with you, to be arrested. But he wasn't buying it. I bring that up because that was the first time that I've ever seen someone artificially create a generational gap. There was nothing anyone could have said to him because his purpose was to disparage the younger generation for the things he didn't like about us. Because there is no way on God's green earth that a black man in America will believe the stuff that came out his mouth. Those events have happened in all of our Americas. And I'd be willing to bet that 90% of black men over the age of 30 have a personal story of being racially profiled by the police. I have several. But as I stated, his intention was to have a y'all to point at. And see, that's the type of stuff that grinds my gears. Because that statement was made to separate us, younger black men, from them, men of his generation. This notion that younger generations are moving much more different than previous generations is patently false. The generations of yesteryear are not being genuine when they are telling these kids to stay off our grass. No, these kids grew up on our grass. See, we act like they got this shit out of nowhere. We act like they created the situations that negatively affect them today. Like the reason they told them things ain't got nothing to do with the fact that we made that shit sound cool. It was a lot of hood shit that was glorified when I was a kid. That East 1999 album, that's the album that made me want to rap. Not Crisscross, not Jump Jump. We now have a great-grandfather generation of gangsters. There are OGs whose children have children. We all know we've been pimping since been pimping. So when a youngster say, it's all on a bitch today, did he draw up that vision by himself? Or was it the reception of Goldie, Money Mike, Powder that helped him craft that? I already broke down in a previous video how we've been selling sex since at least the 60s. See, we act like we wasn't trying to bust one down at 14, then turn around and look at these youngsters like they out of pocket. We look at baby mama culture today and act like our granddaddies ain't have multiple homes. So what we're really saying is that these baby daddies need to stay at these multiple homes 2 days a week and act like they gone at work the rest of the week, right? I promise you, I found out about old Theodia a week after I did the video saying I knew nothing about him. That's my mother's father, whose name I didn't even know 5 months ago, who passed away 4 years ago. These aren't new problems. These problems are passed down from one generation to the next like an old bucket. That car maybe had 10 oil changes over 150,000 miles, and the tranny was slipping. And we handed the keys over and said, it just need a little work. Then we look at them crazy when it's sitting on the side of the road after 2 months, like they did something wrong. Boy, we ain't shit. Everywhere I look, I see a problem of division. A black person excluding themselves from this or that as it pertains to black problems. That lack of accountability is costing us greatly. We have to be able to look at some shit that we did wrong and say my bad. It's no different than a good point guard throwing a bad pass. Say my fault and get back on D. But when you throw a bad pass and you act like I'm in the wrong, now I don't even want to play with you. Every time you step up in a leadership role, I'm going to tune you out because you have not shown to be accountable for your actions. And what does the younger generation do when we try to tell them something? In one ear, out the other. Because we have not been accountable for our actions. And we can't blame them for that. Just know that when you see a younger person messing up, someone from a previous generation raised them. And someone from a previous generation raised the person that raised them. It's all of us, man.